Okay, so I just made a video a couple days ago talking about Davante Adams' potential future replacement because he's not going to be great forever. And I suggested it could be Brock Bowers or Brandon Ayuk making big trades, and that's why we drafted Brock Bowers and blah, 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 blah. But there is the Jakobi Meyers of it all. He is a very good player, and we'll talk about the reports coming out. I've got a whole article pulled up here done by Bleacher Report that details how he's been doing and what coaches have been saying about him. And I've been on record saying I think he's a great number 2, not a number 1. However, sometimes people get better, right? People develop. I mean, we all want Aiden to develop. We saw how Max Crosby developed. Maybe, him and Aiden, they got a nice little rapport. Maybe Gardner comes in there. We'll talk about Gardner in this video as well. Jakobi comes in, and now we got 2 number 1s. This is something we need to discuss because, like I said, if the offense can make people schematically and make people in terms of just the weapons we have running wide open, it's not going to matter who the quarterback is. The quarterback could be me or you. And these guys are going to be running wide open. All we got to do is put it in between the numbers. Let's pull up this Bleacher Report article. This is Fact or Fiction, buying or selling latest buzz coming out of 2024 minicamps. And if you scroll all the way to the busy bottom, it's not the bottom. Hold on. Stand by. It's actually not even close to the bottom. Here we go. Raiders expect Jakobi Meyers to make huge leap. The Las Vegas Raiders may have future Hall of Fame wideout Davante Adams playing at a superstar level. But head coach Antonio Pierce is expecting another receiver to play an even bigger role in 2024. According to Sports Illustrated, Ezekiel Tezevent, hopefully I said that right. Hey, I'm going to make this very quick because I'm sure my subscribers are tired of me saying this. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We're so close to 8,000. We're trying to get to 10,000 before the new league year. I need like 37 new subscribers per day to reach that goal. It's on you. If you've been watching me and you enjoy me and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. Let's get it. Pierce recently heaped praise upon Jakobi Meyers, calling him, quote-unquote, that guy, an alpha, while noting the veteran pass catcher has taken a really good jump for us during the offseason. Interesting. Meyers joined the team last spring, but reunited with former New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. That didn't go as planned. McDaniels lasted 8 games, blah, blah, blah. We know about this. Meyers managed 71 receptions, 807 yards, his lowest per-game receiving yardage since his rookie season. Although the 27-year-old scored a career-high 8 touchdowns and established himself as a clear-cut number 2 behind Adams, it's difficult to envision him raising his game too much this coming off season. While free agent pickup Gardner Minshew projects to be the slight upgrade over incumbent starter Aiden O'Connell, hard disagree, Bleacher Report, but okay. Neither quarterback nor Vegas' offensive system offers enough upside for Meyers to truly break out. Okay, well, let's stop right there. The system that we're running is not the Bears system. We know this. It's the Packers system, right? And it all hinges on how well the 12 personnel stuff can work. Because if we can really execute the 12 personnel with Mayer and Bowers, the S's are going to be confusing. Then you got Davante on one side, Jakobi on the other, Zamir White up the middle. If we could run the football and play action pass, effectively, both wide receivers are going to have huge numbers, Jakobi and Davante. The only thing that would hurt Jakobi's numbers is because we don't have enough football to go around. If Jakobi can play at the level he played last year, 71 catches, 8 touchdowns, 800 yards, that's great. That's great because we have people coming in here like Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers that are going to take reps from him. So I'm not expecting him to have 1,000 yards, but if he can play at the level he played last year, I think the sky's the limit for him. Okay. The Raiders have heavily emphasized the ground game under Pierce, including racking up 60 rushing attempts against a mere 52 throws and 2 victories that teams notched over the final 3 weeks. Okay, that's a little inflated because of the Chiefs game. We ran the ball a lot in that game. And, there's the anti-Aiden O'Connell people that say, he didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. It's like we only threw the ball 10 more times, and 3 of those were drops. Okay, and 2 of those were throwaways. So he really only incompleted 5 more passes. Like, we made a conceded effort to run the football. And if we're going to talk about the games in which Aiden played bad and we won, let's talk about the games where Aiden played good and we lost, like the other Chiefs game where he started the game 10 for 11. Like, we lost that game, so nobody cares, but he played pretty damn good in that game. 250 yards and a touchdown. He was rocking and rolling in that game, made some amazing plays. So if we're going to talk about how bad he played in the losses, let's talk about how bad he played in the wins. Let's talk about how good he played in the losses. Anyway, Meyers must also contend with Brock Bowers, a generational prospect who was drafted number 13 overall, for an already limited amount of targets. The Georgia product had already been impressing teammates, including Adams, who nicknamed him BM, short for businessman, due to his workmanlike approach to the game. If Bowers is as good as advertised, and Adams, who's already amassed 2,600 yards and 22 touchdowns since joining the Raiders in 2022, continues to play at an elite level, there won't be enough looks for Meyers to make a significant stride in 2024. Okay, so Bleacher Report is talking about the numbers, right? What have you got for me numbers-wise? And I understand that's kind of how you make your bread and butter, like the statistics, right? Numbers don't lie. But Antonio Pierce wasn't saying that he's going to come in and have great numbers. He said he made a big leap, probably a big leap athletically, technique-wise, skill-wise, player-wise. And, yeah, there's not enough football to go around. We're not going to score 30 points per game. But the idea that because his targets are going to go down means he's not going to be as good of a ball player doesn't really make sense to me. If Jakobi Meyers can do exactly what he did last season, that's all we would need. If he takes another step, it's just going to be very tough for people to guard us. They're going to have to get pressure on one of these quarterbacks because, like I said, Aiden and Gardner are good enough to throw the ball to open receivers. And if we're not playing an elite defense and Jakobi Meyers is even 85% of what Davante Adams can be, and then you have Mayer, and then you have Bowers, there is literally no stopping us, save for one of the quarterbacks being just terrible. But if one of them is just terrible, we'll throw the other one in. That's the beauty of having two quarterbacks. And this is why when we signed Gardner Minshew, people were like, oh my God, why did we sign Minshew? What are we doing? You need to have somebody there in case of emergency that the rookie you drafted, or, we didn't do that, the second-year quarterback you're rolling with, Aiden O'Connell, does not develop. Because now it brings me to the Gardner Minshew of it all. I don't understand why Gardner Minshew can't be the Las Vegas Raiders versions of what Ryan Tannehill was for the Tennessee Titans. When Ryan Tannehill went from the Dolphins to the Titans, nobody thought they would be a perennial playoff team. Not one person. Because he went there to back up Marcus Mariota, right? Ryan Tannehill takes the job. They go to the playoffs. They win division games. They were a field goal away from beating the Bengals to get to the AFC Championship. And they went to the AFC Championship the year before that or 2 years before that, and they were up 10 against the Chiefs. And that Titans team defensively is not as good as our team defensively this year. And that Titans team offensively, although they had Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, that's very good. We can contend with them weapon-wise. And let me ask you this question right now. Who's the better quarterback, Gardner Minshew or Ryan Tannehill? In their primes, at the height of their powers, not right now. And Gardner Minshew might not even be in his prime yet. The answer might be Ryan Tannehill, right? But it's not by much. And if we have a better roster than the Titans did, but Ryan Tannehill was slightly better than Gardner was, why can't we have the same success? This is not rocket science. Ryan Tannehill was an average to slightly above average quarterback. He went to a team that was built to win. And what did they do? But won. With a defensive-minded head coach. This is not rocket science. If Aiden doesn't take the leap and we throw Gardner in there, why can't we win as many games as the Titans did? Gardner Minshew is an average quarterback. And with above-average weapons around him and an above-average defense, what's stopping us? Is it Luke Getsy? Okay, then maybe it's Luke Getsy. But nobody's been saying that. Everyone that's been saying the Raiders aren't going to make the playoffs, the Raiders are going to win 6 games, they're not talking about Luke Getsy. They're not talking about the defense. They're not talking about the weapons. They're not talking about AP. They're talking about the quarterback. And Aiden is a question mark. But it's weird because all the experts think that Gardner Minshew is going to start. So they're not even talking about Aiden. I could see us starting Aiden and losing games because he wasn't ready. But everyone thinks Gardner's going to start, and everyone thinks we're not going to win games with Gardner. But then Ryan Tannehill can just go to the Titans and go to an AFC Championship game in Kansas City and be up 10 points. I get it. That's an outlier. But this is an outlier situation where the roster is constructed to win right now, and all we need is a quarterback. And we actually got one that was pretty decent that almost made the playoffs last year with a shitty Colts roster. So this is an outlier situation. So if we go with Gardner, it might look negatively on Aiden, and that would suck because I think Aiden should start. I think Aiden's a better quarterback. But if we go with Gardner, guys, that doesn't mean the season's over. We could make the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. In fact, we probably should. If he just plays as well as he did last year, how could we not? The Colts won 8 games or 9 games or whatever it was, and the running back dropped the third down pass, so they would have been in the wild card round. How could we not make the playoffs with Gardner Minshew if he plays just as good as he did last year? It's really confusing to me that people don't see this. And look, I know. I've said, why pay attention to the experts, right? The experts. They don't know anything. They know a little about a lot. We know a lot about a little. I've been saying it since day one. It's just frustrating sometimes when it feels like it's so easy. The good argument is that the AFC is just really tough, right? I get that. You've got the Chiefs. You've got the Chargers in our own division. You've got the Texans. You've got the Colts. You've got the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets. You've got basically the entire AFC North, right? That's 11 teams. I get it. But some teams are going to take step backs that we didn't expect. Some teams are going to take step forwards that we didn't expect. This happens every single year. Half the teams that make the playoffs miss the playoffs the next year. It's like 48%. These are the stats we should be talking about. So if Jakobi takes that next step, and that doesn't mean better stats, it just means better ball player. And if Gardner is the one who starts, he can be that Ryan Tannehill type player. It could all fit together like a baby glove. I don't know why the glove is baby-sized. I don't know. But I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Will Jakobi take a leap? Does that mean better stats? Who is he taking targets away from? What are your thoughts on Gardner starting, being that Ryan Tannehill for us? These are all questions that I have asked to you. Comment below, let me know. Drop likes. It does help. Please be sure to subscribe. It's free after all, no charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.